Chairman, thank you very much. Mr. Secretary, thank you for you and your team's presence today. I asked my staff to give me the statutory requirements of your consultation with Congress, and it turned out to be pages. In the Mission Act, you are directed to consult with us as you develop regulations, and the goal of that language was to make certain that Congress was informed before the regulations were determined, not a consultation that says this is what the regulations will be. My understanding is that those consultations that have occurred have progressively gotten better. We still want more specificity, and you seem to be headed in that direction, but I would encourage you and your team, as we get those briefings, to give us the details so that we can encourage, comment, suggest in advance of decisions made at the Department of Veterans Affairs. That was a very intentional aspect of the language included in the bill. Let me see if I can get a couple of things in the 4 minutes I now have left that are specific. First of all, how the Department of Veterans Affairs defines episodic care is a hugely important issue in regard to how the Mission Act will be implemented and what kind of care our veterans will receive. Can you, Mr. Secretary, in a specific way, tell me how you will define episodic care?
Well, I will let the doctor describe that.
Doctor, thank you.
So it will depend on what the issue. Thank you. So it will depend on what the issue is. Certainly, we have the 6 different criteria that go into it. If it is something where you require orthopedic surgery, require physical therapy, we will bundle the care for that. Whereas if we can't provide it, we would provide it outside.
Obviously, in 4 minutes, there's not a way to be terribly specific, but it will be something we will continue to ask you. I would tell you that my interest in these topics is generated by our casework, what veterans bring to our office and what problems they've had under choice. The idea that you have to go back to the VA every time to get the laboratory work, the x-ray, that is not an efficient system and one that's designed to fail and not be beneficial to the veteran. Would you commit that we'll be able to review your definition, Mr. Secretary, of episodic care before the regulatory process?
Absolutely.
Thanks, sir. Let me then turn to access standards, which has been a topic of conversation by most of my colleagues who have spoken already this morning. Here is what I would look for in today's setting. I'd like to have assurance that access standards will be applied to where a veteran actually lives, not his post office, his or her post office box, as has been the case in the past.
Absolutely. And I've said on many occasions, and most of my focus has been on the Western United States. That is absolutely necessary if we're going to make choice work. It's striking to me that still in 2018 we don't understand the scale of the American West. And what you've said is absolutely essential if we're going to make access standards work.
Another piece of casework that has become a challenge for us is the definition of in the VA. And that is that in circumstances in which our veterans are trying to access care, the VA's response is the care is available within the VA broadly. In my view, the question is the care in the VA available at the facility, the hospital, where the veteran lives? And our veterans are being asked to travel long distances because the care is available in the VA, but not geographically available.
And that is one of the things that we will fix as a result of the Mission Act. And we will get a system in place that allows the veteran the opportunity to get that care that is most convenient to him and to his family. Senator Tester's gone. The example I use is a 700-mile round trip in Montana. Kansas, the distances are almost as great. So absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.